all right, you still got to see it. You were there for a couple of the days. We saw the workouts. You watched them. I didn't. I admit it. I wish they were still in the morning. I could watch them while I work. I wasn't going to rearrange my weekend to watch a bunch of guys running around in their underwear. Sorry, full transparency, I'm not doing it. Combine superlatives time coming out of this year's event. Chris, what do you have first?
Well, I mean, let's just go with like legs and butt for days. Tristan Wirfs. We didn't get to talk about that yet because we didn't hit it the first. But Tristan Wirfs, the offensive lineman from Iowa. I mean, come on. We talked about some of the skill guys in the first hour. I mean, we got to hit on him once again, Mike. I mean, that was, out of this world. 320 to run a 4.85, 36.5-inch vertical, 10-1 broad jump. And then the way he moved in drills and everything like that, along with just, again, the way the body looks. A 320-pound man who, it's not your normal look of a 320-pound man. It's an upper body of a guy that looks like, he's 285, 290 pounds because it's not sloppy. But just the power and explosion from a guy like that, to me, that was a game-changing performance. Probably going to be a first-round offensive lineman no matter what. But when you put up those type of numbers, that moves you up like 10 spots in the round. And now he'll be truly coveted as one of the number one linemen in the draft. And to me, that was one. We got to give love to the big uglies every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, when a big guy has that kind of athleticism and can move that way, there are so many different things you can do with them. You can get more creative. He can fit, systems where the offensive linemen are on the move more. And you never know when you're going to need somebody to put the pedal to the metal on the football field and run across the field and block somebody or chase a guy who intercepted a pass, whatever the case may be. It's tools that are uncommon for linemen. And to see a guy that big move that way, that is incredibly
That's scary. Mike,
impressive.
I ran a 4.82. And I was, 95 pounds less than him. I mean, that to me
I'm
is...
at the combine running the 40.
I'm running the 40.
I'm running the 40. I'm running the 40. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. But, I mean, that just speaks to what a freak of nature he is.
God, I wish I'd known you then, but I don't know that I could handle the 21-year-old version of you. I have a feeling you were probably far more of a handful than you are now.
Yes.
All right, this is the Not Ready for Primetime Players Award because I don't like the fact that they moved the workouts to primetime. And I put out a very innocuous, open-ended, not a push poll on Twitter. 24,600 votes so far. How much of the live combine coverage did you watch this year in comparison to last year? Less has 65% of the vote. Less. And I know the ratings were up for Thursday when they moved it into the evening from the daytime, but man, I don't know that this is sustainable, especially when they are going against real sporting events where you turn it on and there's real excitement. They're actually keeping score. And it feels like watching golf. Not that I have any problem with watching golf, but it's all very hushed tones and it's individuals and there isn't a whole lot happening. And you can catch the big things on Twitter or ESPN Sports Center after the fact, or on this show on Monday morning. We'll tell you everything you need to know. You don't need to spend 7 hours, 4 to 11, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and then another 5 hours Sunday, watching every minute of it. And I watched very, very little of it, and I think a lot of people who are ardent football fans feel the same way because fundamentally it's just not football.
Well, no, it's not football. And maybe the thing that's going to hurt it a little bit is the fact that, it's prime time on a Friday and Saturday night is not, I think they're going to have to move the days eventually. That's to me where it's got to be played. I mean, you're right. Nobody's going to turn it on Friday or Saturday night. You might take a quick look, but are guys or are people going to sit there for 2 and 3 hours at a time? No. Eventually they're going to go out with their wives or their friends and go to the bar and do whatever that, maybe take a look here and there. But if I'm the NFL going forward, I'm thinking, okay, for now on, let's try to make this to where it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, something like that, because then Mike Florio's more inclined to be in the barn on his recliner watching it, right?
Oh, and let me tell you, I have watched a lot of sports that I had not watched in a long time. I had never watched UFC. When there's a UFC pay-per-view, we have a gathering in the barn. I mean, it becomes like a communal activity, and it's fun. You get everybody together. You have a good time. I didn't even dare send out to the text chain of all the guys who come to my barn, hey, let's watch the scouting combine Friday or Saturday night. They would have laughed me off of the chain.
Yeah, well, you're right. I was that nerd that does that. Okay, I didn't do it Saturday night, but Friday night I did. But I'm obsessed with it, and this is what I do. And I wasn't feeling well, so I wasn't trying to go out on a Friday night. But either way, I enjoyed it, especially Thursday night. To me, that's where I'm just, to my point, have it in the middle of the week, and you're going to get everybody to tune in and sit there. Friday and Saturday night, you're going to lose a crowd of people that are going to go do.
I think you're right.
Things.
I think you're right. I think they look. They've already shown they're willing to reconfigure it. I think the bulk of it needs to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, or do the 4 days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But if they're going to try to turn this into a revenue generator, a ratings generator, you can't have 4 to 11 p.m. Eastern on a Friday night and a Saturday night because people aren't going to stay home to watch that. All right, what's your next one?
Godzilla Award, okay? I mean, Godzilla, okay? It's Mekhi Becton, okay? Did you see that freaking dude? I'm mad I missed that interview last week while I was puking my brains out in the Indianapolis hotel. But, again, we talked about some of the sexy skill guys. I don't want to talk about them all the time. I mean, I want to talk about this big freak of nature. 364 pounds. He ran faster than Tom Brady did, right, at the combine. All right, he's to move like that, and forget all that. Forget that he ran 5'1", which is impressive. Some of the drill work he did. I mean, this is not just some big slob who weighs 360 pounds. This is a dancing bear, as we would say in the NFL. He's a special athlete. So it's another guy that, I just want to give a little notice to, because we're talking about this is a Trent Brown, right? Orlando Brown of the Baltimore Ravens type guy, where it might not always look pretty and super athletic, but the size of the human being is different for even the NFL. And yeah, there might not be quite the foot quickness you want prototypically out of that guy, all right? But it's not that much less than. And, this guy could cast a shadow around planet Earth, so to get around him and his long arms too is not easy either, which makes up for the fact that his feet might not be as quick. But to me, that was another impressive performance that I just got to talk about. I mean, to be that big and to move that way just speaks to the athletes that are coming into the NFL right now.
6'7", 360, and you're right, to move like that, incredible. And I look forward to a creative coach finding ways to use him. Line him up in the backfield, make him eligible. Let him catch a pass in the end zone. Let him run something other than a short little route. Let him get a head of steam behind him, and good luck if you're a safety getting in his way if he has the ball in his hands. So that was impressive. And it's funny when they come around for the interviews, they're wearing the baggy clothing, so you really don't get a sense. I mean, for me, it's just like looking up at a giant. You don't sense how big the guy is.
Right.
When they're, you can't hide anything in the underwear that they wear for the combine.
You can't hide anything in the underwear for the combine.
Yeah. Chris Jones found that out the hard way 4 years ago. But anyway, I digress. You really get a sense for how massive these guys are, and when they move like that, it really is impressive. All right, this is the I Choose Not to Run Award for Chase Young and anyone else who makes the conscious decision not to work out and doesn't give in to the pressure. And I think they're getting more creative on how they go after the guys who choose not to work out. It used to be very blatant and very open, where people in the media would say, oh, what's wrong? Don't you want to compete? Aren't you a competitor? These guys are out here competing. Baloney. They're not competing at football. And Chase Young told me directly last week, I didn't want to take the time necessary to become a combine athlete. I wanted to continue to work on becoming the best football player I can be. So when it's time to show up and practice and play football, I'll be more prepared. It is a unique skill set to morph into an underwear Olympian, and I admire Chase Young for holding firm. The thing I don't like, though, is, all of a sudden we start hearing, oh, Chase Young didn't have a sack in any of his last 3 games. Who cares if he had a sack or not? But, you buck the system, Chris, and the system finds a way to buck back.
Oh, well, no doubt. You're all of a sudden, I don't know if he hustles every play, his motor. I mean, all those kind of things, you're right, are all going to be questioned a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He's put on enough on his plate, and to come out of a place like Ohio State right now that's just, through the roof with pass rushers, and the fact that those people are going to go, oh, he's like a Nick Bosa, or oh, he's like a Joey Bosa, I think that's going to silence a lot of the haters and criticism criticism there in a hurry. But he's one of those guys still. I can't wait to see his pro day because I think he is going to do something that we just go, whoa, like an Isaiah Simmons or a Chase Claypool that we saw this year, where we just go, it just doesn't make sense to be that size and look like that and be able to move the way they do. That's why the last one, like if I could do one more superlative, like holy wide receiver. I mean, it's just one freak after another. I mean, that would be probably my main thing that jumped out from the combine. I just can't get over the amount of talented, physically gifted wide receivers that are in the class. Of course, hey, it was great to see Henry Ruggs, right? I mean, whoa, could he fly? You know, you could tell he felt the pressure of the moment too, and he wanted to do something special. But then, you know, whether you talk about the kid from Colorado, Chase Claypool, Denzel Mims, Donovan People-Jones, Jerry Jeudy, who I thought overall looked about as good and as smooth as any receiver there, running a 4.4. Justin Jefferson, same thing from LSU. They might not have had the fastest times, but they had times where you go, whoa, he's still really fast, and they look like the most polished wide receivers of the group too. But that's one thing that jumped out to me, Mike. I just, sitting there Thursday night, every receiver that got up, I just kept going, wow, he looks good. Whoa, okay, he can run. Whoa, he could jump. Wow, he looks good. Whoa, he can run. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of talented receivers that are coming in the league this year in the draft.
Hey, Chris, and that means it's bad news if you're a free agent receiver or like a Stephon Diggs. If the Vikings are thinking about trading him, why would you give up anything of value for a veteran receiver and take on an 8-figure contract when you can draft one or two of these guys at very, very low salaries in comparison to what the best players, the most established players in the league make?
Yeah, you're right. Well, you know, and last year, Mike, to your point, you know, we could point at 2 second-round picks who changed their team at wide receiver. Deebo Samuel for the 49ers, DK Metcalf for the Seattle Seahawks. You know, to your point, that's spot on. Those are 2 guys that became go-to targets for their team that were found in the second round. And I think you're going to find a number of receivers in this draft that are go-to type material that are drafted in the second and third round.
Hey, and that could ultimately make it very good for the Cowboys, who, if the new CBA goes through, they'll have a franchise tag to use on Dak Prescott. Amari Cooper, for whom they gave up a first-round pick back in the 2018 season, he goes to the market. Maybe the market won't be there for Amari Cooper, because why am I going to sign Amari Cooper and pay him 16, 17, 18, 19 million a year or more when I can get one of these kids right out of school, and there's so many of them this year? The dollar for dollar value is there for the youngsters, and it may not be right there, relatively speaking, for Amari Cooper.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.